Oh, I got a Twitter note.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Ooh. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is episode 2 of the Ocho. Hey, Dubs, happy Thanksgiving, man. Hopefully you
Yeah.
got some turkey or some ham or whatever it is that
Can I go on a little rant real quick about
yeah,
Thanksgiving?
you should go on a rant. Do it. You do it.
All right. It needs a heavy update. We got to, they didn't have brisket in the 1700s. We weren't making fat lasagnas back then. I'm just not a turkey guy. It's bland, and it's not I'm guessing my mom's probably tuning into this. It's not a knock on like who's cooking it.
It's
It's
all
just
right.
not. It's just not fun. It's not a
No,
good meat. Doesn't
you,
taste great. It's
you
just
got
not.
dark meat is the best meat because it's fatty. Everybody always goes
I
for the
go for
white
the
meat.
leg because I'm a
Yeah, the
fucking
leg
heathen.
that's good. Leg is good. The white meat's it's okay, but you have to like douse it in gravy and all the other stuff. Yeah, it's fine.
Right.
My Thanksgiving's in October, so like we do it way early. We're done. We're done Thanksgiving. By the time you guys are doing Thanksgiving, we're like, oh, it's Thanksgiving again.
I love the idea of Thanksgiving. You sit down with your family, have a meal, you appreciate everybody. Understood. Yeah. Get it.
All
But
good.
we need a little bit of an update food wise because I'm good. I don't eat turkey. This is the hottest take you'll hear from me, and it's probably gonna turn some people off the rip. I don't like mashed potatoes.
Oh no,
Make me
mashed
throw up.
potatoes.
Not a fan. Don't like it. Just a no-go for me. So Thanksgiving's kind of tough. But honestly, I avoided it pretty well. We had a little bit of turkey on Thursday, but we did Friendsgiving last Sunday and then like family stuff this past Sunday. And it was ham and like the best sides. And then for my family shit, we did Chinese food. So I lucked out pretty good in the food department. Can't complain.
That's pretty solid. You know who's not lucking out right now? Perfect segue. This is God. I love a segue. Scory Perry. Man, it would be a disservice to do this show and not talk about how awful the internet is. And also the ham was fire. I just
Thank you. I was gonna ask if you could pull that in there for me because yes, the ham was fire.
Corey Perry is at a rough couple of weeks here, and I just want to start off by saying neither you or I know what actually happened.
Correct.
The internet is a savage place where rumors run wild. The Chicago Blackhawks organization is dog water. They might be the worst run organization from a public relations standpoint that I've ever seen. You cannot go from Kyle Beach and covering up awful, horrible, horrendous things during your cup run to not acknowledging what's currently going on unless there's legal ramifications or there's no consent or whatever it is. But you can't just come on 5 or 6 days later and be like, I just want to be clear that it's not the thing you think it might be. Because to me, that just makes it feel like it probably
actually is that.
And if it's not that, it's horrible because then Connor Bedard's mom is also being dragged through this, and like they're just like she's just gonna deal with it. It's like, man, like what a disaster situation for Bedard. You get Connor Bedard, you get the premier chip.
As you said, they're trying to rebuild their whole character after all this Kyle Beach shit, trying to turn the page, do the new thing, original 6 team, big market.
All the things they could have going for them, and they opt for the Bill Clinton defense of 10 days later, I'll say I didn't do something, and then it's pretty obvious that something happened. So apparently he's been put on waivers with the purpose of terminating his contract, and it is because of conduct unbecoming. And we don't know what that conduct is. Apparently is with a team staffer They're not saying whether that was a male staffer or a female staffer. They're not saying whether it was physical or sexual. They're not saying whether it was consensual or if it was violent. They're not saying if they did an 8-ball on the plane. They're not saying what they did. They're saying nothing. All they're saying is he did a thing and we're not letting him play with us anymore. I think he probably ends up somewhere else it depends on what it is.
Right.
And that's the thing. If this is my favorite part of this whole thing was Corey Perry being like, "Hey guys, I'm going to take some time away from the team." His agent reported that, and the team was like, "No, we're taking our time away from you."
Actually, no, you're the problem. We
Yeah.
won't want to be around you. Yeah, I mean, my favorite part of it has been all the memes and all the hilarious shit. Because for those that don't know, the speculation that the internet came up with, why we think the internet's a savage place, it was not that Corey Perry did any of the things Armchair just said. Possibly, like, the insiders, that's what they said. The internet, they believe that Corey Perry had Bill Clinton sexual relations with Connor Bedard's mom.
Yeah.
Clapping bombs and clapping moms, Corey Perry's school of cougering.
Yeah, and boy, if you toss that kind of salacious rumor out there and do nothing to quelch it,
you don't say shit for days.
It's gonna run wild, and it did. It was Hulkamania in the '80s. It was running wild all over you. Running wild. You gotta watch out, brother.
Take your vitamins. The cream of the crap.
Cream always rises to the top. Brother.
Sure does.
There was also a trade. How do you feel about this? The Vancouver Canucks moving Beauvillier over to Chicago. People immediately were like, "This is to replace Perry." No, it isn't.
This probably had nothing to do with the Perry move.
I have a feeling this is Vancouver trying to clear some space to make a more significant move because they are in a great position.
Agreed. They're, I mean, we'll get into the power rankings.
We
will
fall
in a little bit, and
yeah,
again, we'll get into it. I love Vancouver right now. Hughes is the best defenseman outside of Cale Makar on the planet right now.
Yeah,
and JT Miller, actually a savage. I wish the Bruins did trade for him when all those rumors were a thing, but we'll settle.
Miller rumors.
Exactly, but the Canucks are in a great position right now, but they know that they're going to like, this is going to fizzle out a little bit at some point. Flaws are going to reveal themselves, and they viewed Beauvillier as expendable, and it gave them extra cap room to try and make a move later on in the season when somebody goes down to injury or they start giving up a bunch of goals and they need to patch up the defense a little bit, or vice versa with the offense. I just think this was a foresight move for Vancouver.
Old Roman Furch coming in with the clutch. Bo Horvath, best name in hockey history. I mean, it's pretty up there. It's a pretty good.
Shout out Roman.
What's up, Roman? We appreciate you, brother. The Canucks are in a great position, and we'll get into them when we get into the power rankings. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the other big NHL news, which I just congratulations, Leaf Nation, once again whiffing on another free agent you probably thought you should sign a dozen of, and you didn't. Patty Kane to the Wings.
To the Wings.
The
pride of America, Patrick Kane.
I don't understand the move from the Wings perspective. I understand Kane's perspective because they had the most cap space available. It was the most money available. So he took his money, which I totally get. Rebuild your whatever value you think you might have if you want to make another run next year at some higher value, or play yourself into a position where you can get traded to a contender. Although the Wings are playing well. I don't want to, I'm not disparaging the Wings. They're a good team. They're not the team, but they're a good team. They're playing well. But man, what is your thought on the overall deal? How do you feel this changes how Detroit's outlook is? And Roman's coming in once again. Needs a mentor for the youth. I mean, he's great at mentoring them how to beat cab drivers. That's for sure.
Over 25 cents.
Yeah, over a nickel.
Even with inflation, it wasn't enough to beat the guy the way he did.
No.
Regardless, I do agree with that. I think that having Patrick Kane in the locker room is good for a team like the Red Wings that are full of young talent and kind of blossoming before they expected to. On the other side of that, Patrick Kane signed with the Rangers last year and was supposed to help them on the way to the cup. And what happened? Nothing. He didn't really do shit with the Rangers. So I don't really know if he's going to do shit with the Red Wings. Like until we all know what Patrick Kane was. I just don't know if he's still that guy. Can he come in and give you goals, give you support, give you a mentor, whatever? Sure, 100%. And like you said, I understand it from Patrick Kane's side. You go get as much money as possible. But if you are the Red Wings, I don't know if I would have been the team to land on this. I would have just stayed pat where I was and just keep letting the kids play and get as much experience as possible, keep putting points on the board and go as deep as you can. And then you can assess yourself for next year. Because again, like I said, you're ahead of the ball game.
I think that there's no harm in signing him. The only part that's confused. So remember when Brett Favre wore a Vikings purple jersey and you were like, God, that makes no sense.
It doesn't look right.
And like Gretzky
Brady for the Bucks.
Brady for the Bucks, Gretzky in a Blues jersey, or the Kings. I mean, the Kings is fine because it grew on you, and he had a career with LA. Like, I won't take the LA part away, but like the Blues part was weird. You know what I mean? Like any of these guys, like that play the game with the team for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's like it's a rival,
right?
Like the Wings aren't like. It's not Montreal, Detroit. It's not like it's like a like sort of sometimes rival when like things are going well. Yeah, it's a like Hawks Wings are like they're bitter rivals. I don't understand it at all from that perspective, but congratulations on getting your contract signed. It only took Thanksgiving to finally decide to come play hockey, I guess.
He's probably at like his heaviest weight he's been at too.
You think he's full Phil Kessel?
I don't think he's full Phil Kessel, but he's definitely full on some turkey legs and some fucking stuffing.
Shout out 3-time Stanley Cup champion Phil the Thrill. 3-time.
Bruins legend.
My favorite Stanley Cup photo is Phil eating hot dogs out of the cup after people made fun of his weight. It's bar none one of the best Stanley Cup photos ever. You want to get in some power rankings?
Let's do it. And I was hoping to have my nice clear picture camera for this, but things happen right before showtime, and I'm not a tech wizard.
Listen,
so hopefully you can see that. That's my new Sharks logo. I think it's fitting.
Yeah.
They're going to kick off our power rankings here at 32, and that's probably where they're going to sit for 82 games of an NHL season.
The Sharks aren't good. They're getting better, but they're still not
trying.
They're playing the games, and they're not getting like back-to-back 20 goals like over 2 games. So like,
yeah, correct.
They're better.
They have one player with 10 points. Chicago, who perfect transition. They're next on our list at 31. They're the next worst team in the league, and they have 4 guys with 10 points. Just to put it in perspective, how bad that San Jose offense is, and the defense is no better.
No.
But Chicago, we just talked about. They've had a horrific week off the ice, and it's been just as bad on it. Yeah. You got Connor Bedard, but we should.
It's going to be a challenge. You're going to need more. I think that the first couple of games, people got really optimistic for not a good reason, and I think they need to maybe pump the brakes and remember that Connor McDavid still hasn't won a cup, and it's been years. So, number 30, we got the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Correct.
CBJ.
Columbus, they just beat my Bruins in what was our worst showing of the season.
Everybody has a grumper.
So shout out the Columbus Blue Jackets for that one. But they to steal Jeremy's line from the main show, if you had Boone Jenner as the leading scorer for the Columbus Blue Jackets right now, you're a witch.
Yeah.
Where is Patrick Laine? Where is Johnny Gaudreau?
No
Zach Werenski and Boone Jenner, though. Shout out to them. They're doing everything they can.
It's kind of bananas. The Minnesota Wild at 29, team that you don't like. You just don't like them.
No, you don't like to watch them. I don't like to see them. Their aesthetic is just not pleasing to me. I have no investment in the Wild emotionally, financially, anything. So I to see them at 29 or happy, I guess would be the emotion to describe it. But they just became the second team to fire their coach, so maybe they'll turn something around. But I doubt it.
Yeah. 28 is my Montreal Canadiens.
I'll let you take the floor with this one.
Look, we're not a good team. I'm just like being completely honest. We have 3 goaltenders. We're currently tied 1-1 with Columbus, so that should tell you about where we are. We're really scrappy. Like the Canadians are a scrappy team. They will win games they shouldn't win, and they will lose games they shouldn't lose. But they're not yet at a place where the talent is far enough developed. There is a lot of youth on that team, which makes it fun. Like sometimes it means it's really fun, like when Arbor Jack guys like Ragdoll and Maple Leaf players. That always brings a smile to my heart. But they really need to figure out this 3 goalie thing and make a move. I thought by now they would have traded with Edmonton. I guess not. They're one of the few teams. I keep saying I don't play for them. They're one of the few teams that have 3 goalies on the main roster, and they're going to trade one. They've made it clear. Jake Allen's probably going to get moved. They're going to go full
Buffalo.
youth movement. And it's going to be great. This is the way you should do a rebuild, though. You bring in, they've got guys that know what they're doing and will be moved by the deadline. They also have guys that are just young. They're just young. This is what you want in a rebuild. Young guys learning the ropes together, coming up and playing well, but still losing games.
Best case scenario.
Don't be good. That ruins your draft picks for next year, you idiots. Lose the games. Be happy with it.
Shake field goals at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah. 27, we got the Kraken. Shane Wright must be very happy about these rankings because he's just ahead of Montreal.
He sure is. Good for Shane Wright. Seattle is a team, like they have some decent young guys, but again, we talked about it last episode, which they just overperformed too early, and people have such high expectations for these expansion teams because of Vegas. But in reality, Seattle's still ahead of the curve. But that Philip Grubauer deal looks even more suspect now than the day it was signed. And I didn't think that was possible. That guy's bad. He's not a good goalie. No. He got carried by the Avs. He was bad before he got to the Avs. And now that he's in Seattle and with not a ton of help in front of him, he's getting exposed. Him and the backup, whose name is escaping me now. But they've combined for 10.29 goals allowed above average, which is
bad. A lot.
Yeah, I don't need to tell you that's bad.
The other thing that I want to bring up as we get to number 26, the Islanders, is the NHL has this really unique thing about it where once you get to American Thanksgiving crosses over, the playoff positions rarely change. So the teams that are currently in the playoffs right now are Boston, Florida, Detroit, New York, Carolina, Philly, Toronto, and Tampa. So that leaves Washington, the Islanders, and the Sabres all on the outside looking in. New Jersey's in that mix too. They're all within 3 points, 4 points. Pittsburgh's also 4 points out.
New Jersey's the only one from that group that I think could maybe turn it around. But that all sounds right to me. Like you said, that all kind of balances out after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And then in the Western Conference, it's Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg, Las Vegas, Vancouver, the Kings, the Blues, and the Preds, with the Coyotes, Flames, and Kraken just on the outside. Now, the Kraken are sitting at 21 points. They win their next game and Nashville loses, and they're in a wild card spot. I just don't think they have the juice to carry that through 60 more games. And
I don't think Nashville does either.
And that's why we're saying that. I think the fluctuation is something like, if 22 teams make it, 17 of them are set. So
Yeah.
you're not seeing there's a couple of spots on the fringes of the wild card, like 4 wild card spots and 1 division leader may change. That's what we're looking at. So the Islanders at 26, they're not performing. They have a lot of talent on that team and they're not performing. Like where's the goal scoring for the Islanders? It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. And their defense has been pretty dog shit too. And their offense cannot keep up with the amount that their defense lets up. So they're just gonna be bad. And they don't have anything exciting youth wise or
No. They're in that murky middle that they're going to be there for a while. They're going to either fluke into a playoff spot and be a scrappy team you don't want to play, or they're going to be completely terrible and end up not where we want them to be.
Blowing everything up.
Yeah. 25. We've got the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim.
Yeah, I want them to be better. No team has fallen. And so I might give you some, they've fallen this many spots. I did power rankings last week. We didn't have a show. So that's based off last week's power rankings that you didn't actually hear. But the Ducks fell 6 spots this week and 6 spots the week before that. So there's no team plummeting more than the Ducks in my power rankings here. But they're young. We got to see some fun shit for a little bit. A lot of goal scoring. Carlson, McTavish. Everything was kind of going right, and that's fallen off the tracks a little bit. But they weren't favored in any game up until our first power rankings.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they were favored in a game right after we did that show, they started just falling apart, losing every game.
Yeah.
So maybe once they become underdogs again, they will start soaring. But for now, we are stuck in neutral.
24, we've got the Ottawa Senators, who I think should be lower on this ranking.
Yeah. I mean, you're probably not wrong. Let's hear it.
Ottawa has nothing going right for them right now.
Nope.
Not a single thing. We're 17 games in. They played the fewest games in the NHL right now. Yes. Yeah, the fewest games in the NHL. They did the Sweden series. They did the overseas thing. That was fun. Everybody enjoyed that.
Good for the Swedes. They got to see the Senators.
Yeah. 17 games in. They're 8 wins, 9 losses. They're +1 goal differential. But, they're just average.
There's 0 on this team that excites you.
Right in the middle of the road average. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're probably going to win as many as they lose. They're not competitive. And the fact that Montreal is 3 spots ahead of them in the wild card is bad because they're actively trying to trade away talent to be less good.
Right.
Ottawa should be better. They've got the issue for Ottawa is games played. I mean, the Jackets, who are right ahead of them in terms of points, have played 6 more games. Columbus has played 23 games. Ottawa's played 17.
That's wild.
That's a lot. That's a
lot more games.
It needs to be figured out. I'm still curious how they're doing this poorly. They're a team that's far more talented than they're showing.
I don't disagree with you with any of that.
23.
23 is the Arizona Coyotes.
The Yotes.
Again, another team I wish was better. And episode 1, I told you I wanted Carl Vejmelka to be better, and he's just
not.
He's just not. They're way better when Ingram is in net. They're 8-3 when he starts, and 2-6-2 when Vejmelka starts. Do a little goalie swap. Keep letting the young talent work. Maybe we can turn this thing around a little bit. We just named some playoff teams in the Western Conference. I would take the Coyotes over probably 3 of those teams you said.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. 22, we got the Blues.
Another team that does absolutely nothing to excite me. If I'm watching a St. Louis Blues game, they're either playing the Bruins or I made a mistake. I knew they were bad too. They're one of the worst 5-on-5 teams in the league, and stats are starting to kind of balance themselves out now. That's why you saw Vancouver make that move from Bavilier so they can figure out their own shortcomings. Play a lot of hockey 5-on-5. I'd say that's the majority of the game. If you're not good at that part, you're probably not going to get a lot of wins, and St. Louis is in that department.
They're not great.
Nope.
That's all I'm going to say about
Binnington's great. Other than that,
Gloria was a great song to rally around, and they've used
Gloria.
that juice. Number 21, the Oilers, who are surging all of a sudden.
They are, and McDavid's a huge part of it. He's got, I think, 10 points in their last 3 games, something stupid. Coaching change might have been what they needed. Whether it had anything to do with the issue at hand or not, or they actually just started playing how they were supposed to, I still don't think, like, this has been my whole adage with the Oilers forever. They're going to score 4 goals, but you're probably going to score 5.
Are you going to get 3 or 5? That's all you need to know.
Exactly. They give up a ton, and it's never going to change until they make a significant move at goalie. Jack Campbell's not it. Skinner's not it. I'm good.
Yeah, Jake Allen.
They don't scare me.
Jake Allen was ready if they wanted to play the game, but they won't want to play the game with us. Montreal is asking way too much, which is I really
maybe they'll come around.
Well, I love it because Montreal's like, man, we'll keep the 3 goalies. You think we give a shit?
We're gonna lose anyway.
Number 20, the old Calgary Flames.
Yeah,
is Zadorov still not traded?
No, he's not. I don't know why.
What are we even doing?
This is another franchise. To make a football comparison,
sure,
you can tell me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
Don't they feel like the Chargers?
Yeah.
Just perpetually.
Yeah.
They have great talent. They're horrifically mismanaged, and they just never actually show up when you want them to.
Never. No. Not since since Iginla?
Iginla and young Dion Phaneuf and Mika Kiprusoff.
Kipper and
I fucking loved that team.
That was a great team.
That was like the first team outside of the Bruins that I was like, yeah, I kind of like them.
That's not this team. This team sucks.
No, 20, it's not this team.
20 in our power rankings.
Yeah.
The power rankings are brought
I wish they were lower too.
Yeah.
They are brought to you by Jim's Fish Fry. You smell them, we sell
them. We are open for sponsorship is what we're saying.
Yes, we are. That was
give us a message. Shoot us a message. We're here.
Let me know.
The Preds
DMs are open on all social media. So the Predators, we talked about the Ducks having the biggest plummet of all these teams. The Predators have had the biggest come up. They're on a 4-game win streak, 5-game win streak, something in that vicinity. 6 straight, actually, now. Philip Forsberg's an absolute dog. That's not a new fact, but he's actually on pace to break his career high in everything. Yep. New coach in the offseason, maybe took a few games, a couple weeks to really get into form under the new coach, but maybe Nashville's starting to hit their stride. Who knows? Maybe they end up as one of those dark horses in the playoffs that nobody wants to see.
Everybody loves Nashville when they're picking winners because you want them to do well because Nashville's a fun city. So I've been told. And the fans actually were like, well, we don't know nothing about hockey, but we're in. And they've supported that team like since they got there. There has never been a moment where you're like, oh man, I can't believe they moved to Nashville. This made no like they got there and they're like,
you're right.
Cool, we'll go.
Yeah, Pat, we got a hockey team? We're gonna throw fucking fish on the ice. That's what we're gonna
do. Number 18.
Number 18 is the Buffalo Sabres. They finally sent Devin Levi down, who I told you episode 1. Bomb.
Yeah.
Buffalo. I'll give you my Cash App. Venmo tips are not enforced, but they are encouraged. Tage Thompson out after that Bruins game, but they are staying afloat. So if you're Buffalo's front office, that's nice to see. I cannot pronounce the goalie's name that's playing in place of Devin Levi, but he's been killing it since he came in. It's one of those weird
Luukkonen?
Yes, thank you.
Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
Yes. I get caught up on the front part. I knew the Luukkonen part. It's the that front part is a little tricky. Dastardly.
Where's this guy? He's Big Shock. He's a Finn. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's one of those like weird Finnish names.
Yeah, he's a Finn. Yeah. Number
Makes
17, we
perfect
got
sense.
the Penguins. And the only reason we're ripping through these is because we do actually have some baseball conversation we
We
want to get
do.
to tonight.
And, and the back end is the back end.
Yeah, like honestly, and if you're watching and you want to let us know if you need the entire 32 team rankings as we get closer to the playoffs. We're likely going to, I think we talked about this last week too. We're likely going to cut down into more manageable kind of bites, just seeing who's hot and who's not. But yeah, Penguins at 17. Sidney Crosby, Kenny Malkin still doing it.
Yeah, absolutely killing it right now. The Penguins, the problem with the Penguins is not Malkin, it's not Crosby, it's the power play and it's the other forwards. They're converting on 12.1% of their power plays right now, which is super low.
Yep.
When they're not on the power play, they're among the top in the league with goals for 5-on-5, even strength. So I do think they'll come around and it will kind of even itself out because I believe in the veteran leadership of Crosby and Malkin, and the Penguins are one of those teams that always seem to just be there.
Yeah,
they're going to be a trouble. And when we get towards playoff time, whether they make the playoffs or not. So I think they'll turn it around.
They're a good team. Kyle Dubas beat Toronto, so I'm sure he's happy about it. Right. The Devils are 16th right now, and they're kind of in a bit of a free fall here. They're a more talented team than this. They're probably a top 10 talent.
I would agree with that. And like I said in the last, I think they'll be that team from that outside group that they'll turn it around and get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
My biggest concern with them is their goaltending. I don't believe in either guy they have, and I don't think their defense is all that good enough to help them out. Like they're going to score a lot of goals.
I know a team that could help you out. Pick up the phone.
Sponsorships and goalies. Hit up Armchair.
Yeah, we got you covered. They need to figure it out in net more than anything. Philadelphia Flyers are midway, sort of, I guess, are 15.
They're the perfect team for this because I don't know how to feel about them. They seem to split. Every team they've played a second game against, they split. Good, bad, whoever it may be.
Doesn't matter.
So I don't know. I felt like putting them right smack dab in the middle was probably the best spot for them, but I think they're a team that could either fall off dramatically or go on a run. Like I don't know how to feel about them. They have pieces, but they have their shortcomings.
Next up, we've got the Caps coming in at 14. Ovi chasing down the great one. He's sitting at 827.
Sure is. Gonna need to kick himself into gear if they want some more wins, though, because nobody else is doing it. There's one team in the league who is worse 5-on-5 than the Washington Capitals. Who is it?
Is it St. Louis? I don't know.
It is the San Jose Sharks.
That makes sense. Yeah,
can't have that.
Now that you said it, that makes sense.
Can't have that. We cannot have that. They're also dead last in the penalty kill. They're actually worse than the Sharks at that. So, got to figure out some things. How does that happen when you have Alex Ovechkin? That blows my mind.
You put him on the point, or put him on
shows the inadequacy of the rest of the people around him. Capitals are in 0 position to win right now. The only fun thing they got going right now is the fact that Ovi's chasing greatness. Other than that, I don't believe in this team for a shit.
No. Lightning at 13.
It's still
Tampa.
It is still Tampa. They've just lost 4-1 to the Avs on Monday. I think I watched the majority of that game. Kucherov still a dog. If they end up rising higher and higher in the Eastern Conference, we could be talking about him for a heart. But
the Lightning are going to beat the majority of the teams in the league. They're just not going to compete with the elite.
They're the Warriors.
If you end up facing the Lightning and you're any one of 4 through 8, and you're facing the Lightning, you're probably toast. 3 through 8. But the top 2 teams, if they face the Lightning, are going to beat the Lightning.
Right.
If you're the Avalanche, you're going to beat the Lightning. If you're, I won't say who, but our top Eastern Conference team, also the top of our power rankings, you're probably also able to beat the Lightning. Like, it's not rocket science. I look at it and I go, the Lightning are older. The Lightning are, they're not a team that is expected to win a cup again, but there's still a bunch of veterans on that team that are performing.
I just had a fucking ghost knock some shit down in my house, I think. Sorry to get distracted there.
Super spooky. So let's.
Yeah, I don't know. That was fucking wild. I hope it came through audio wise.
I heard the little things falling. We've got the Wings at 12.
So yeah, they just signed Patrick Kane, obviously, as we talked about. They also just beat the Bruins, which everybody's doing this week, apparently. But like we talked about earlier, Detroit, they're young. They're playing well above what I expected them to be doing. So keep doing what you're doing. And I feel like 12 is low for them. Like, I want them to be in the top 10, but it just didn't happen.
Well, they're losing this exact second. So
are they? Who are they playing tonight?
The Rangers.
Yeah.
The bread man delivered.
The bread man delivers frequently. We've got deliveries 3 to 4 times.
Yeah, it's a pretty frequent schedule. The Leafs at 11.
The Dallas Cowboys of the NHL. They are 24th in goals allowed at 5-on-5. They have no cap space right now to help that either.
They just sent, was it Timothy Liljegren or no? It was Klingberg, John Klingberg.
Yeah,
to Robidas Island. Classic reference for you hockey fans out there. Look, the Leafs need to improve their roster, and they're not improving their roster, and that's a problem.
Correct. And they don't have the money to.
They have no room to do it. There's no room, no space. No room, no space. So, that Klingberg signing looks real good right now.
Sure does. Also, Nylander's probably going to end up walking for free because they're not good enough to trade him and still compete, and they're going to need it. Like,
they need him. They think that they can keep everyone, and
it's not going to happen.
He's
going to walk for a king's ransom. That man is playing out of his mind right now.
This is a bit of my fans are idiots. They're not great people. Fans are not great. We all acknowledge that fans go out of line, and we'll talk about this more at the end because I saw some just outrageous things in regards to Shohei Ohtani. But Leaf fans in particular will be like, hey, I got this great trade. We're going to give you like 4 4th-rounders, and you're going to trade us McDavid, and it's perfect. And you'll pay half his salary, and it's the best trade. It's fair for both sides. And I look at that and I go,
logical. Sounds like you thought that through, and
it's the most like irrational fan trade theories.
Radical.
Might be the worst thing on X, formerly known as Twitter, or
and Boston Sports Radio.
Yeah. Let me give you the like worst. Like, why don't we trade a bag of pucks for Panarin? Like, New York will totally go for that, and it's like, I don't think you know how this negotiation thing works because it's not that.
The other, like, when people are like, for example, Josh Dobbs, journeyman QB, decent player. All the casual fans just see him going off the last few weeks. They're like, Josh Dobbs. And everyone that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about are like, he's not that good. He's actually not that good. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
And look what happens. It's the same shit. There's always going to be shit. The vast majority of sports fans don't actually follow things in depth. They just watch the games and they go on. I'm just gonna call it Twitter. I just can't do Twitter. X, and they
just call it Twitter.
They just say the most outrageous shit you've ever read in your life, like 12th page Reddit shit. You're just like, what?
On purpose?
What the fuck?
And they meant to say
and they meant it. Their face is on the profile photo. It's not even one of those fucking things where it's
not
just
a burner.
Like, no, it's not a picture of fucking Bill Clinton giving the whodunit face. It's Ugh.
It's like name, address, serial number,
Yeah.
social security
It's
number.
like, I
No,
did
I meant
one
this.
Google search. I did a reverse photo search that shit, and I have your address.
Awful. Let's get into our top 10.
And you're trying to tell me Mac Jones is a bad quarterback? I'm just kidding. That was like a year ago. He's horrific. But
He's
anyway,
not
we're
great
not
right
talking
now.
football.
The Winnipeg Jets, number 10.
The Winnipeg Jets, the good Jets,
The good Jets,
the better
the only
Jets.
Jets, the much better Jets.
Over the last few weeks, Connor Hellebuyck has just absolutely regained his form. He was pretty bad at the start of the season, and if you remember week 1, that was kind of why I had a knock on them. I believed in them.
Quality again.
Correct. He's back. Connor Hellebuyck is back. America's goalie is back.
Yeah, he's good.
He's so good. Fucking good. He's so good. But yeah, that as long as he's killing it and they can keep getting the goal support from Kyle Connor and all those other guys, Winnipeg's going to be just fine. They're a top 10 team and they should stay here.
Our father show, I don't know what to call them, the main show, they're based in Carolinas, and the Hurricanes are number 9. And I know they don't really care about this, but there are some members of the House of Reprehensibles that sure do care about this.
I said I don't even remember if it was a joke what it was, but I mentioned the Hurricanes being from Charlotte, and I got corrected by about 12 people in 10 seconds. I didn't even realize they were in Raleigh.
No, they're in Raleigh. They're absolutely in Raleigh.
Did not realize that, but regardless. There's definitely
stop wearing the Whalers gear. Stop wearing the Whalers gear. But you're still good. You're 9th.
They are 9th, and again, another team that I feel like should be better. They're perpetually in the bottom half of the top 10, but they are first in shot attempts.
Yep.
5-on-5. And again, play most of your hockey 5-on-5. They're 24th in shot attempts allowed 5-on-5. And most of their shot attempts are not danger attempts. They're just throwing shit on net. I worry about their offense when it comes playoff time, because you're going to be facing their best defensive sets. And if you remember last year, like before the playoffs and shit, the Bruins weren't showing their power play.
Yeah.
They were just going to take losses on the power play because they didn't want to show new sets before the playoffs. I worry about Carolina's ability to get over things like that.
Carolina needs something, and I don't know what it is. I'll tell you what it's not: a new coach. They have one of the best systems installed, best cultures in that locker room.
Agreed.
I think that goaltending is also a problem. There was a rumor they were going to call Montreal. Everybody's going to call Montreal. Anybody that's had a goalie problem, Montreal's first call, and they're like, "We want something big," and they're like, "Never mind. You're going to be a pain in my ass to deal with." So
the Canadiens front office answers on the first ring. They already had their phone in their hand when you called. They're
absolutely ready. Carolina is going to be a good team. They've been a good team, and they'll continue to be a good team. So I expect nothing less. Vancouver sitting in the 8th hole.
They've fallen heavy. They've fallen 6 spots this week. I had them at 2 last week in your unheard power rankings. We talked about trading Anthony Beauvillier. Outside Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, the best defenseman in hockey right now. Absolutely fucking killing it. The top line of the Canucks is all in the top 10 in points. It is a really good team. They just had some bad losses this week and it bumped them down. But I really like Vancouver. And they will be.
They're a great team.
Them and Dallas. Dallas and Colorado, I think, are my favorites in the West. But
that makes sense. We've got the Knights at 7. Vegas is just a really well-rounded team.
They are. They had a bad loss to Edmonton last night, and they just lost Theodore, one of the top defensemen. That's going to hurt. He's out for a couple weeks at least, so we'll see what happens with that. But Vegas was my top team in the power rankings week 1, and they've just kind of steadily been falling. They lose some games they shouldn't, but like you said, they're really well-rounded. They're going to be in the conversation when comes playoff time. I'm not really worried about them anything.
They'll be in the playoff mix for sure.
Correct. And Bruce Cassidy is that guy.
Yes, absolutely. Florida Panthers at number 6.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
Yeah.
You hate ranking them this high.
I really hate it. Every single time I write them this high, I go, how can I get them lower? And I just can't because they're really good and I respect how good they are. But fuck, it hurts. And Gudas, oh, I want to fight that guy, but he would turn me to a chalk outline in 10 seconds.
He'd
flat.
bury you.
It would bury me in a second. I would look at him wrong and he would, but fuck that guy. Fuck Kachuk. Fuck Gudas. At me.
We'll turn that into a reel.
The rest of the Panthers, I really like Barkov. I wish he wasn't on the Panthers. I wish he was anywhere else. Maybe Carolina. Go to Carolina. I don't have any beef with them besides from the Whalers jerseys, but Barkov is looking for a Selke right now. Reinhardt's absolutely killing it. Still got Ekblad. If the goalie gets hot, there's not much stopping them. And they're just so goddamn scrappy.
They're not afraid to mix it up.
No.
They're not afraid to take a penalty. Like, they're like, we'll go on the penalty kill, and if you score on us, don't worry about it. We'll get it back. But we're gonna get in your head. Their number one goal always appears, get in your head. Let me get in your head and let's call it a day.
And very apparent because we had one of the craziest moments I've remembered in hockey recently. Every single person on the ice got a misconduct.
Everyone on the ice, 10 minutes. That's
only the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, Florida and Ottawa. Great job, guys. The Bees, number 5.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've had some bad losses this week.
Columbus
looked horrible against Detroit.
Yeah.
I told you this was going to happen, though. We're going to fizzle out a little bit. I did not want the power rankings you didn't hear. We were 1.
Yep.
And then these last 3 games have been a nightmare. So
I think you're a top 10 team all season long. You'll move anywhere within that 10. And if you're out of the 10, that's when you need to start worrying. I think anything in the 5 is fine for a Bruins fan. It should be fine.
Yeah, I don't have super high expectations for this team, but keep letting the kids play, see what happens. And they just we got really good fucking coaching and chemistry, and the passing. Every pass is just tape to tape and right where it needs to be, predicted people's movements. That's where we make our best plays. But I gotta ask you, outside Connor McDavid, is there any forward in hockey you'd rather have than David Pastrnak? Maybe Matthews.
No, I don't believe Matthews. I don't believe in Matthews. I think Matthews has a great shot, but I think he's useless everywhere else. I think he's utterly useless.
Yeah, you're right.
Got a great shot, and he's got great hand-eye, but like on the defensive end, he's a liability. He's a total liability.
Boldest sense of the word.
Nylander, maybe. I like Nylander a lot. I think he's a really good player, and that pains me to say. No, Pasta's probably it. Maybe Panarin.
Yeah, that's solid.
I think Pass is probably top 5 outside of McDavid. McDavid's the guy. Like, let's not pretend he plays on the Oilers, and that sucks. And anyone that thinks that he's not the guy is dumb. You're just dumb. You're being an idiot. Stop being an idiot.
He's been the guy since the moment he walked into the league.
Yeah. Number 4, Dallas Stars.
I love the Dallas Stars. Otter just had a huge night. 27 shots, 27 saves. Beautiful performance for him against Winnipeg, another top 10 team. Matt Duchene playing well above what they're paying him.
Yes.
Filling in for a lot of the scoring that Dallas had last year that's kind of been slow to start, but good team. They're staying afloat. Doesn't really matter that they're not getting the goal scoring that we really expected. Defense is still incredible, and again, another team that's super well coached, and they might be my favorite from the West.
Over the Avalanche, who is our number 3?
It's tough. Like, my brain wants me to say the Avs. Like, I have a bet on the Avs to win the cup, but there's just something about the Stars. I just feel like it's got to be their time soon. They're gonna be that team that, because what happens in the NHL playoffs? Team gets hot, and then all of a sudden you get in the cup you never expect them to, and they have that goalie.
Yeah,
Ottinger is That dude, he's a fucking dog. I don't want to say I wish I had him because we have the best goalie tandem in the league.
Yeah.
Small flex, goalie
Yeah.
hug. But that Stars team, there's something about them.
The Kings are number 2. Avalanche are.
I want to talk to Avalanche for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
They're so good. They're just so loaded with talent. Nathan McKinnon's a dog. Cale Makar. I heard shout out Empty Letters podcast. I heard them talking about this last week. Cale Makar, a Hall of Famer if he retired today.
He might be.
He is just about every trophy he can win.
Yeah, the only thing, he just needs the numbers. You got to pump the numbers.
Right.
You just need the games played. You need the minutes. You need the time. A lot of the Hall of Fame in the NHL is unlike the NFL or the NBA. The NBA is strictly, did you win rings and did you put up points or assists or blocks or like, were your statistics good? In the NHL, you can win every trophy and they're like, yeah, you're probably in the Hall of Fame. You probably need to go in the Hall of Fame because you're doing all the things, but stats still matter. They still matter a bit. You still got to get like the numbers.
The good thing is he's not retiring today, and he's going to keep racking all these awards up and numbers. That guy's an absolute stud. And as long as the Avalanche have him, they're going to be at least decent. And the rest of that talent on that team, they're really good too. And those are they're my 1-2 in the West. And we'll talk about the Kings right now because
they're hot.
They are so hot. There's not a hotter team in hockey. Maybe Nashville, but the Kings are undefeated on the road.
How do you feel about the Chrome Domes? I don't hate them.
I'm torn. There's times I'm like, yeah, that looks good. And I feel like when I see them in motion, when I see them playing, I'm like, yeah, that looks good. But when I see pictures of it, I'm like,
I feel like the Chrome Dome needs to go with the all black uniform.
Yes.
I feel like you need the contrast. You can't do the chromes with the white because then it just looks weird. I don't like the chromes with the white. The Chrome Dome with the black.
With the white is not. That's definitely a no-go for me. But with the all blacks, I think I like it. I'm just not ready to really commit to it, but I think I like it.
It's fine. It's fine.
Talbot absolutely dogging for them right now.
They're 5 straight. They're hot. You can't
get undefeated on the road, which no other team can say.
No, absolutely not. We made it all the way to number 1.
We sure did.
We haven't figured out who it is. It's the New York Rangers. The bread man delivers.
The bread man delivers. The offices of Christopher J. Kreider are open.
Yeah. They're good. They're real good.
What was like one of their biggest issues regular season wise last year was that they had not really anybody to back up Shesterkin. And when they got to the playoff time, that man was gassed. Did not really have much left in the tank. Jonathan Quick he settled into that role. Perfect. Chef's kiss. He's been killing it in the backup role there. And Rangers are just a fucking house right now.
They, I think they have the 5th best goal differential. They're tied for it. The Canucks have the best. So this is amusing to me because this is telling of how your season is going. Number 1 is the Canucks. They have a plus 34 goal differential,
which has gone down significantly. It was higher last week. It's like plus 39 or 40 last week.
The Kings at plus 29. The Sharks are minus 54. And then
that's so bad.
And then the Avalanche are plus 21. And then the Rangers and Golden Knights are both plus 17. Bruins are plus 16. Wings are plus 14. So the Rangers are a very effective scoring team. Although they are losing to the Wings. We told you the Wings are playing well right now. Wings are currently up. It is 2-1 with 6:22 left in the second. Montreal, Columbus are tied in the third.
Techball.
We didn't mean to. The Rangers are our number 1. That's been Power Rankings. We will, as always, try to do better. Do you got a game of the week this week? Do you got a game that you're watching?
I haven't looked, but if you got one, I'll pull one up for you.
I do right now. Tomorrow night we have James Reimer and Peter Mrazek. It's
Ooh.
the Hawks and the Wings.
Oh,
I
love
I
that.
imagine that there's going to be some drama here. Whether Kane's on the ice or not is going to be interesting because even if he's not fully conditioned, I imagine he's dressing for this game.
Right.
So I feel like there's potential drama in that. If you're looking for an actual good game, Winnipeg plays Edmonton tomorrow.
That was what I was looking at.
And then our Saturday games are Boston Toronto, which is the game to watch, I think, out of that.
Fuck yeah. Stars Lightning will probably be pretty good too on Saturday.
Stars Lightning will be good.
Yeah.
Rish, that's our hockey story for the week. We're gonna shift focus and briefly talk. I don't want to keep everyone too long, but we got to talk about this. Shohei Ohtani is the biggest name in Major League Baseball. He is the free agent right now that people are after, and other people so. The Mets have landed Severino as of 2 hours ago.
Yep.
1 year, $13 million deal.
Didn't even have to move.
The Cardinals signed Sonny Gray.
Correct. Who looks like he's 75 years old right now. Shout out John Ball for that.
They're assembling the oldest starting rotation in the history of starting rotations. It's going to be interesting to see.
Dylan Cease probably going to be a Brave by the end of the week.
There's a lot of moving pieces happening. The GM meetings happened. They kind of ended unceremoniously. Usually something happens around this time. It's not always the biggest fish. We've had a lot of, since the pandemic, there's been a lot of wait and see what happens. I kind of hate it. I kind of love it. You want to take a guess at the betting favorites for Shohei Ohtani as of 5 hours ago. It was updated 5 hours ago.
Number one's probably the Dodgers.
Number one is always going to be the Dodgers. And we know why that is. They have money and they're LA. It's hard to pass that up. You want to guess who number two is?
Is it the Yankees?
It's not the Yankees.
Is it the Rangers?
It's not the Rangers.
I'm stumped then.
It's the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ooh, look at you.
Followed by the Cubs, the Giants, the Angels. Angels have plus 1,000.
Do you think it's only because of that meeting got leaked?
No.
You think there's real smoke to it?
Because I think that he came into the league torn between Toronto and LA. And he chose LA, and it didn't go particularly well. I think there's a lot of upside to the Jays. I think taking my homer hat off and looking at this objectively from a baseball perspective, the Blue Jays have a solid rotation, absolutely solid. They're not the best in the league, but it's solid. It's better than mid.
Right. I would agree with that.
Gosman, Barrios, and Kikuchi last year were fine.
You lost Robbie Ray, and we're still good.
If Manoah comes back and does anything above dog shit, that's a win, and he could also get moved. They have teams that can do things. They have guys that can do things, so they're okay.
He's currently Phil Kesseling. He's eating hot dogs out of a cup.
As far as players that can hit the ball, you've got a good core of guys that give you a chance to win. And other than losing Kiermaier and potentially Matt Chapman, which would hurt, but not the end of the world. I love Chappie and I hope he comes back. But you have a roster that is, within the realm of you're going to the playoffs likely. Like you're going to be competing for a championship. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility to go. Toronto should be on a shorter list of odds, like this plus 600s, plus 800 at most to win the World Series. They're not like your plus 12,000s. You know what I mean? We're not talking about a way outside long shot here. The roster is constructed well. The roster that I think that makes the most sense is probably Toronto. I think that they lose because they're not San Francisco, who I think should be higher ranked on this list than they are.
That was
And
my pick from the get-go. I
and they're
thought he
not
was going to San Francisco when the season was still going.
And they're not the Dodgers.
Right.
And the Dodgers make a lot of sense because of what they are. I think that what you'll see is if Ohtani signs with either the Dodgers or the Giants, expect to see the Blue Jays take a huge swing at Juan Soto as a rental. Because they need to win. They need to win something for Vlad and Bo before those guys decide that they're going to move on, because they're probably thinking about that already.
Right.
And that's frustrating.
I bet.
It's frustrating. I hate it.
Enjoy them while you got them.
Yeah.
It's all right. They'll be in Dodger blue soon.
Everybody ends up in Dodger blue. It's bullshit.
Mookie Betts.
Yeah. I feel your pain. I never liked Mookie as a Dodger. I liked him.
If they didn't, I'm glad they paid Rafi, because if they didn't, I was going to be out for a bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let two homegrown superstars walk for fucking, like, no chance was I doing that shit. So I'm glad they signed Rafi, because it saved my fandom for a few years.
I think we're going to see some things moving. The Yankees aren't doing much. I don't think we're seeing a lot of motion on some of the. I think the big fish, everybody's waiting on Ohtani. I think when Ohtani falls, Ohtani's market's going to determine what Soto's trade value is going to be. Because if the Blue Jays sign Ohtani, then you're looking at the Dodgers and the Giants probably making a swing for Soto, because I think that's what happens. I think the Soto deal happens after Ohtani signs, because you need someone to do that.
And supposedly that's why the Red Sox are out on Ohtani right now, is because they're sick of waiting for all of these dominoes to fall, and they're trying to go get a head start on other shit while everyone's waiting on Ohtani, which makes sense to me. And honestly, Ohtani doesn't really, like, obviously he's the best player in baseball. You make him fit. But as the roster's constructed right now, opposite from Toronto, we're not really suited to bring in Ohtani. So I'm fine with them looking elsewhere, but I would also give him a blank check if I was running a front office right now.
Well, and that brings us to our kind of final thing for our last call, and that's fans are dumb.
Fans are so dumb.
Fans are dumb. I saw, and I sent it to Dubs, the dumbest thing I've ever seen, where someone said, well, I hope we don't sign Ohtani. We'll lose a second-round draft pick. And I couldn't tell if they were being sarcastic or not, because people are idiots. Sometimes they're being sarcastic, but I actually genuinely think they thought that the problem with signing Ohtani would be losing your potential draft capital. And this is just as bad as the fan trade rumors. Just complete nonsense. Fans are idiot, and that's my last call. What do you got for your last call?
I mean, pretty much the same thing. I can double down on that. I keep saying people. You want to talk about? I mean, this isn't baseball, basketball. I want to talk football for a second. Let's do it. Bill Belichick. The amount of people that think he's the sole problem, below my mind.
Yeah.
Yes, his draft picks are horrible. Yes, things need to change. But he's not the only, like, people act like he can't call a defense anymore, or it's crazy to me. So shout out fans being dumb, because the amount of Patriots fans that I see on my Twitter on a daily basis. Oh my God. You're lucky I don't have the time to respond to everybody, because I would. I'd sit there all day and just scroll and go, you're dumb, you're dumb, you're dumb. Oh, and you're dumb too. Oh, and you're dumber than that guy, which is fucking hard to do.
Fans are dumb. And that's our last call for the day. Dubs, it's always been a pleasure. Where can the people, when you got your let's
Lots to talk about. Lots to talk about. Shout out Chima Okoli, former Penn State lineman. Shout out Beware, another former Penn State lineman. We have been talking football over on Twitter every Tuesday at 7 p.m., taking you through the recap of the NFL, previewing next week, taking us through it. Stone Sports should come back at some point. I've been saying that forever, but schedules are hard. You know how it goes. But make sure to follow us everywhere. We're at Stone Sports Podcasts everywhere but Twitter. On Twitter, we're at stoned_podcasts. So follow us there, and we'll see you.
I'm at Armchair Common 2 on Twitter, but you can follow me everywhere. I'm just doing the Ocho right now. We're taking it easy. I had dental surgery last week, and it's been listen. We have, if you want to do something nice,
I bit my tongue last week, so we're in the same boat.
I want to say just a quick, completely off sports topic. Thank you for your donation, and for everybody else who supported my mustachioed campaign here. I just want to let you know that as a group, $704 raised.
Let's go.
So huge shout out. Unfortunately, we were unable. We knew we were not going to be able to help my dad. My dad did pass away a couple weeks ago now. It's almost been a month. Shout out to Papa Armchair, rest in peace.
Shout out. Took a shot of whiskey for him.
But we are raising the good money. So if you do want to raise some money, you want to donate, you can hit me up on my DMs. For the next I got 2 days left, today and tomorrow, and then my beard comes back, and I can't wait.
I bet.
I miss it, man. I miss it. For Dubs, I am Armchair. Make sure you come check us out next week on the Ocho. We'll be back.
Absolutely.
8 p.m. Eastern.
Camera will be clear next week. I'll make it a mission.
Absolutely. Peace.